All right, so we're going to look at making a new document for this new project. The file size is going to be print letter. You're going to name it correctly, and we're going to call this project Collage. There's a setting down here. This is landscape versus portrait orientation. I do want you to use portrait orientation even though you may be using your iPad in landscape. It'll just make the figure bigger. In general, most images of folks like what I want you to use will be larger in this portrait orientation. So all that stuff's good as long as you've got that preset. It's going to make the item, and then the next thing I want to do is show you guys how to get some photos into Photoshop. So I'm going to try this and just see if it comes in. Cool, very good. So that's a thing I'm going to draw my person with. But before we get started doing this, importing photos into Photoshop, you have to go get them off of the internet. So I'm going to go to Safari. I've got some images. I've looked up the person that I want to do. And then you want to try and find one. So this is fairly large. This is 1314 by 1600. So that's pretty big. So I'm going to click on this, and it's going to take me to the image that is hosting that, to the site that's hosting the image. So what I'm going to do is, now that I have found this large version of it, I'm going to click and hold, or tap and hold, sorry, and then I'm going to choose Add to Photos. And that should have added it to my photo library. Let's double check here. There it is. It's the most recent thing. So I'm going to go back to Safari. I'm going to pretend like I'm looking up some other stuff. So this is where I found the computer chips. Someone mentioned in class the other day PNG. A PNG, you'll notice on the right here, this image has like a little textured background. It's basically it's showing you that those are clear pixels, that those are transparent pixels. That may or may not work with this version of Photoshop. All the ones that I've downloaded have actually had just those pixels are filled. They're just gray and white as opposed to just clear. But anyway, you can try it. This is going to take you to a site. You know, you've got like a free download. You can click and hold the image, and that actually looks like it might work. Download transparent PNG, so that's kind of nice. I'm going to try it like this, and then I'm going to scroll. Yeah, that's great. So it actually kind of told me there that it was transparent. There's been some other ones, like these emojis, for example. Looking at the emoji, it looks like it's got those transparent pixels, and then whenever I click on this, I'm going to try and download this, click and hold. But I think it's going to have that white background. So you'll have to be paying attention, but just know that some of the images you download may or may not give you a transparent PNG. So I'm going to open back up my document here, and I'm going to get some of those other images that I got from the internet. I'm going to go to Recents. I'm going to get Richard Feynman. There he is. The other thing with your person, notice this image almost fills up my workspace, but I'm going to make it just big enough so that it fills up the entire space. And you might even make the head of the person larger, because I don't need to see his sport coat. I just want to see his face. That's the part that I'm going to be tracing. So scaling the image of the person you're doing the portrait of. Let's see if this comes in. Nope. Okay. So it comes in. You see how it's got those little squares on it? It's supposed to be clear. So I'm going to make another layer. Nope. So that's actually what would be behind these if you turn these off, and this off, and this off, and this off. Okay, you can see it's got these, there's nothing there, right? But like if I turn on one of the images, maybe this one, right? You see it's got the image of those gray squares, but this is the Photoshop application telling you that there are no pixels there with the little gray and white boxes. That's a little bit confusing, but you guys got it. So anyway, so that's the background. We don't even really need that. We just need the Richard Feynman picture. This one I'm going to delete because I just don't need it. I'm also going to delete this. Actually, I'm going to leave that up because I do need it. But I'm going to move Richard Feynman down. Cool. And I'm going to turn those on. All right, and I'm going to get a couple more things. So I'm going to get the bomb photo. I actually like this other emoji that I got earlier, so I'm going to get that one. It's a little small, but that's fine. You're actually going to be using a lot of them, so that'll work. And I've got some photos here. I've got this set of bongo drums. He did play the bongo drums, which I think is kind of funny. Bombs and bongos and computers. It's an interesting dude. All right, so one other thing, if you do choose to download the file to your image or to your download, like you just say download instead of save to photos, which you may try and do, you'll notice I've got some of these HTML files here. Some images work, like these are just those are Photoshop documents that I got from the website. This is an actual photo from the internet, but in general, it just unless it I kind of go onto the website and download the actual file. For the most of the time, it just gives me an HTML link to the photo. So they're all the same size, 37 kilobytes, 168 kilobytes. That's just a link to the website. It's not the actual file. So it's easier to just download it to your photos. And then once you bring them in, bad news bears, you're going to have to delete the background around these objects because you're going to be copy pasting them and then placing them so that they show the person. So let's start with this computer chip. The way you do that is we're going to do the selection tool. So this is the Lasso selection tool, and what it does is it's got a couple options here. It's got this everything connected, just what you're drawing, and then the overlap of what it is that you draw. So I'm going to draw a little thing here, just a circle around this white section, and I'm going to click More, Select Similar. So it's going to get, oh, I'm on the wrong slide. Deselect. So go to the computer chip. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to do the little lasso tool. Blurp. There we go. More. Select Similar. There you go. It gets everything that's white there, and now I'm just going to erase that. Boom. And now I've got a little computer chip, and you'll see on the little diagram there, deselect, right? I can now turn off Richard Feynman, and this, and I've got those little squares behind it. But you see the little preview here on the layer actually has a preview of those transparent squares, which is handy. So what that normally means is you're getting an image that doesn't have a background. Okay, so let's do this too. I'm going to turn this on. Same thing. Zoom in. Yo, lasso tool. And then I'm going to do select similar. Whoop, I'm on the wrong layer. That's annoying. There we go. You'll make that mistake. I will laugh at you. All right, select similar. Okay, it's getting everything. So I actually don't want it to get everything. I just want it to get the outside. So I'm going to change it to that. I'm going to deselect. So I'm changing it to this different middle tool here. I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to say select similar. That didn't work either. Okay. Maybe on this one, what I'll do is I'll make a mask. I'm going to erase it. That's annoying. Okay, but what I can do is just paint in behind it the white and then combine that layer. So that is kind of annoying. Select similar, transform, transform selection. Let's do this. Let's figure this out because I think you can actually. There's got to be a way to do this. So I'm going to undo. There it is. This transform selection. Nope. I just want to get rid of that. Done. Deselect. So the way you can, a way you can do this is, let's see here, feather lasso settings. Let's see. Let's try this again. Select. Let's do refine edge. No. I don't know how to get edge detection, small radius, invert, output as, decontaminate colors, marching ants. Smart radius, don't know what that is. Edge detection. Nope. Smooth, feather, contrast, shift, invert, output as, selection, output as. All those are good answers. Okay, so here, I will show you the way that I know how to do this. Okay, so one is just to make a mask. With the do the inversion. So I'm going to have to select the invert and then make a mask. Okay, cool. So now I've got a mask, and you'll see it's got this little layer that's connected to it. So what I'm going to have to do is go into this layer and paint in some more white here. So I'm going to use on this. Okay, so I'm painting out part of that mask. There we go. Zoom in a little bit more. I'm going to paint this. I'm not actually painting with the white color. I'm just painting back in on this mask. So the mask here, the mask changed. So what's being blocked out is different. So that's the way you do that, is you use a layer mask, and it's actually just attached to the little layer. So anyway, so that's a little bit more complex than just selecting the like color. And what we'll have to do is, this one, we're going to have to choose a different lasso tool. Select subject. Let's try that. Ooh, that actually worked pretty well. Okay, yeah, so that's nice. The select subject is very, very good. Okay, so let's do this. Select subject. It got it. It's got that stuff. And then I'm just going to erase. Nope. I'm going to have to undo. I'm going to have to invert and then erase. Yes. Okay, that's pretty sweet. And now I'm deselecting. So that might actually, that's a better way to do it than the mask even. That's pretty cool. All right, so that's getting those little guys selected and or deselected and cut out. There's a couple different ways to do that. That worked out well. So now I'm gonna reduce the size of this. So I'm gonna go back to the transform tool. I'm gonna make this just a little bit smaller. Here we go. And now I've got these elements that I can draw Mr. Fox's face with.